Hey guys, Jake here at Pear Tree Ranch, and we're talking about basic horse stuff. I got the gray horse to help me, and we're going to talk about bridling. There's lots of different ways that we can bridle, lots of little tips and tricks that can make this easier, and we're going to try to go over a bunch of them. To leave the halter on or not, it's up to you. It's a personal choice. Personally, I don't think it's very sexy riding with the halter on underneath, but that's just me. You got to do what makes you happy, safe, and functional. Let's look at what if we did leave the halter on to help us in the process of bridling, and how could we get it off with that bit on. I'm gonna go first. Reins. That way, if I needed to, I can reach to take a hold of my horse if I needed to help him stay with me. Whenever I bridle and unbridle, I always put the near side down onto the last hole. Now, I ride a lot of different horses in the day, but even on where this bridle is only for this horse, that still goes down. And what that does is when I then lift it over their ears, it makes it as loose as possible so it doesn't crank it up in their mouth when you're putting it over their ears. Little trick that's helpful, and the horses appreciate it. I'm going to hold the bridle in my left hand while I take my right and rub them between the ears. I'd like to have my horse that when I press down with my elbow, they can bring their head to me and relax. Then I'll hand the bridle to my right hand where it can hang nicely over their nose. All these little steps are benchmarks in the process of teaching a horse to be good to bridle, that if your horse is happy here, you might take it away to say, good job, if they've been tough to bridle in the past. If I can hand this to myself there, I'm going to come down and hold this chin strap, okay, out of the way, where I can then let the bit rest on my fingers. This allows me to do my thumb, come nice and close so you can see, right here in the corner of his mouth. I can rub gently to help him open his mouth. By holding the bit with my hand, I can keep that from rattling on his teeth while I slide it up and in there. Working in the corner here, there's no teeth right there for me to get in danger with my fingers. Down low, yes teeth. Way up high, yes teeth. Right in the middle, it's a sweet spot. Okay? Now, there's lots of other ways that you can help your horse take the bit. You could take this bit and you could paint molasses on it. You could take this bit and wrap a fruit roll-up around it, or a little piece of that, or a little caramel candy. You can also take this bit, and when you hold it here, put a cookie in your hand under it, making sure all your stuff's out of the way. And so if I held that bit and then a cookie, that could invite him to be happy to take that. So there's lots of ways that we can help our horse be happy to take the bit. Now, I've switched from my right hand, which lifted it up into his mouth and is holding the tension. We're going to switch to my left hand so I can put the far ear. Notice I just pushed it forward politely. Now the near ear, we're going to push it forward politely, not pulling it over. I can keep the tension with my left hand to custom slide this up nice and easy. To wrinkle or not to wrinkle. I like to think about, I don't like wrinkles in my underpants, so I want this loose enough that they can let it hang relaxed, not so loose that they can drop it and bang their teeth. I want it not so snug that it's cranked way up in there. Depending on where the horse is at in development, sometimes having it up a little higher helps them to learn to carry it, but then I slowly will give it to where they can find more and more of a comfortable place, especially when it's just a plain snaffle. Then I can reach under here, set my chin strap. I like to try to make my buckles even, and I like to think about a couple fingers length to keep that from being too tight that it chokes him when he bridles up, or too loose that he could pull this over his head. Remember, this throat latch is to help keep this from pulling over their head, so you don't end up like the man from Snowy River when the guy rides up and pulls his bridle off. Now, if I've got the halter on, we can take this off even with that bit in his mouth. We're going to slide everything loose. We'll take this nose piece, come down here, and this is just like if you've ever seen a girl take her top bra off. while leaving her t-shirt on, we've got to slide this nose piece into his mouth. It'll go up and over the bit. See on this far side, we're just gently putting this over the bit there, over the bit there. Once it slides up and over, now we can bring it under the bit and back out, and then have it under the throat latch. And ta-da! If you needed to put your bridle on with the halter on, that's the way you can do it. Depending on the horse, I might put a bridle on with just this on their neck with a little quickie knot. That way I can just go and be free. Okay. Or I might take lots of time, really train my horses to stand relaxed and be patient, so that I can do a lot less of holding them and a lot more of getting that bridle on and going for a ride. And we'll look at unbridling. I'm going to take the reins, put it up here by their ears, do everything in reverse, throat latch off, drop this to the last hole. My left hand holds the tension. I'll take everything in my left hand, ear, ear, switch hands. This can hold the bit to keep it from rattling his teeth and keeps the chin strap from getting hung up, and we're free. There are some bridling tips for you. I hope you got something out of that, because this could all just be basic horse stuff.